So I finally built Iron Brago on my account, and I thought, why not try him out in the clan boss? Is he actually an upgrade for me? But who would he replace? My decrease attack A1 champion? Maybe it could work, so I thought I would give it a try. Then I started with a simple test and realized right away that I have some issues for my clan boss team the way it is currently built. But in today's video, I'm going to go over how I geared him, but also the other tests that I ran on different clan bosses, so different affinities, and came up to a pretty interesting conclusion that in a sense, yes, he is an upgrade, but I actually have to change a little bit more than just one champion. All that said, let's jump right into today's video. For my first test with Iron Brago, I decided to swap him instead of my Padma, which is typically what I run. So he becomes my decrease attack champion. And on top of that, we're against the magic affinity, which means we are the weak affinity. So Iron Brago becomes the stun target. Even with the steadfast mastery on Battle Khazar, Iron Brago will definitely be taking all those hits. However, I'm now getting increased defense, which I typically don't have with my Skull Crusher. Not to mention also the passive, which means a little bit more defense overall for all my champions. That should technically increase the damage of Rosin and Skull Crusher at least, and Iron Brago himself, right? So I decided to watch the entire run for once, and I did finally notice that yes, I have too many poisons. So that's another problem I wanted to address in my test today, is that Xayah and Battle Khazar, and probably Frozen Banshee and Battle Khazar, are a little bit too much in terms of poison. So we're not going to watch the entire run. We're going to instead fast forward to the end and see the result, and then I'm going to compare the result with basically my previous team. All right, so here you have it, and that's exactly what I have right here in this screenshot. But my previous team, my best score so far on the Magic Affinity was done with this team, where I don't even have the increased defense. But what I do have here is the extension of the poison debuffs from Battle Khazar. This, however, is not consistent either. So for me to reach 35 million on the Magic Affinity has always been a little bit hard for my current roster. So then I decided to test against the Void Affinity, and as you can see right there, full of poison debuffs, no decreased defense, and weakened from the Rosin. Therefore, overall, the damage will be affected by this. So I decided that instead of trying to continue testing this team, I had to rework it yet again. So then I went on to testing a totally different team, but I only really decided to test this out because of Iron Brago, which is this team right here. And strangely enough, I've tested something similar before, but never with all the right buffs and debuffs. And this is not perfectly tuned, so there is a lot of room for improvement basically. But what I've done here is dropped my Poisoner entirely. But what I do gain now with a Rearguard Sergeant instead is more decreased attack, therefore still don't need my decreased attack A1 champion. I get more ally protection, and I put a toxic set on one of those champions. So along with the Battle Khazar and all the other buffs, so the increased defense, the passive from Iron Brago, the decreased defense and the weaken, another decreased defense on Rearguard Sergeant, the 2 ally protections, counter attack, I thought, what if this is my key to just lasting a lot longer? Maybe in a sense, Poisoners are a little bit overrated when you have similar setups as this. I'm not saying that Poisoners are not good. What I'm saying is that perhaps sometimes a dedicated Poisoner is not your only option. And to my surprise, number one, I didn't fill up the bar of debuffs, which was kind of already a big step up. But as we let this go here, you're going to notice that I'm still dealing about 1 million damage per turn. So I thought, okay, this is not that much better, but it's also not like worse, right? So, and then I just kept going and realized that, hey, I can last pretty long with this. And surprisingly enough, I hit my new record for Ultra Nightmare Void Affinity, and I finally reached 40 million in one key. So maybe you guys are like, hey, you're late to the party. Yeah, maybe I am late to the party. I don't have Man-Eaters, I don't have Roshards, I don't have Sepulchre Sentinel. I had another play that would have used the ally join attack with the Sepulchre Sentinel. That would have allowed me to reach probably about 45 million per key. But for the time being, this is perhaps my new best option, and Iron Brago with the combination of Rearguard Sergeant made this possible. But then I didn't stop there. I wanted to test yet again with my Poisoner. I decided decided to work with Occult Brawler, which might be a little bit better than Frozen Banshee or Xavier, simply because he adds overall less poison debuffs, but they have more turns to them, so in a sense should be still a pretty decent poisoner. You can kind of see right there 5 stacks of poison on the same debuff, and I thought, what if this now would be a little bit better with my Iron Brago? So this is way more down the lines of what I typically use. Here again, Iron Brago replacing only my decrease attack A1 champion. So then I let this run go, and sadly I kind of finished the same thing here a little bit too early, right? So Rosin ended up taking some of the aggro towards the end because I have a lot of my champions in stalwart, and I'll get back to that in a second. You can kind of see that the bar almost fills up with debuffs there as well, but I don't think it's as bad as the Frozen Banshee and the Xavier. Now I could always try replacing my Battle Khazar, but he is such a good champion to have overall that I thought I would just keep working with that one. So we still got a respectable damage, 33 million total with a dedicated poisoner, but still not even close to the 40 million I had before. All right, and now let's go over these champions and how I gear them for specifically this. So let's do our first one, which is going to be Rosin. This guy has a stalwart set, has not changed in a while. Recently, I just increased his speed to above 191 so that I can put this on full auto. I'm also short of 3% crit rate to work perfectly with the Battle Khazar aura. Accuracy is on the low side a little bit. I would need maybe like 20 more. Maybe I can glyph my way there. Resistance is also a lot too low for what I'm trying to do with him in Tag Arena. Skills are all done, pretty straightforward. This is a great champion to max out. And then for the masteries, we have Giant Slayer for the tier 6. So again, pretty straightforward, but Master Hexer probably being really solid on this champion so that we can hopefully extend the decreased defense and the weaken. Although now that I'm working with Rearguard Sergeant, I might be able to switch this up and go for instead offense and defense. All right, now let's move on to the next one. We're going to do our Battle Khazar. Also in Stalwart, I kind of just finished him. I'll make a dedicated build video on him, but this is to do everything else in the game. So he can solo Dragon 20, he can solo some keeps, he has enough accuracy for the clan boss, 194 speeds, he's the fastest because he's the cleanser, 74% crit rate, short of 1, but you know, that's life. All the skills are done on this champ. Masteries, kind of the same thing here. We do have War Master, we have Steadfast, okay, so this is the big discovery we've done earlier this year. If you put this on your lead champion, the clan boss will skip this champion and go to grid position 1, so this is really important. We also have Lasting Gifts and Master Hexer on this champion to hopefully extend the continuous heals, but also the poison debuffs. Now let's keep going. We're going to do the next one, which is going to be Iron Brago. So also in a stalwart set. This is with the ally protections to hopefully soak up more of the damage. All right, so we got Battle Khazar, Rosin, and Iron Brago in a stalwart set. For this guy, we currently have 5k defense. This will be better. I'm not completely done with his build. We have 192 speed, so also faster than the clan boss. He's equal to Rosin, but he will go before Rosin because he has a higher base speed. This is important to understand. We have 93% crit rate. Too high, but you know what? If I end up using him in, let's say, Tag Arena, this is going to come in very handy. 154% crit damage, could be higher, 241 accuracy, kind of just right for the clan boss, but we are using defense percent gloves on this guy, which is probably the smartest thing to do instead of crit damage gloves because of the way his passive works. All right, so we do have a defense percent chest, we have crit damage amulet, accuracy banner. We've got just overall stats here that are going to give me what I need. So 2 random pieces, speed and crit rate being pretty crucial here. Speed, HP, crit rate, resistance. I also try to give him a little bit of resistance in case I use him in the Tag Arena. Not easy to do. All right, as for the skills, I did max him out except for the A1. So I went until the A2 and A3 were done, basically. As for the masteries, we have kind of the same thing here into War Master. But then we have here on the support tree, we do have Master Hexer, but also Lasting Gifts. So that might sound a little bit weird, but I thought the increased defense, it's already good for 3 turns. It's on a 3-turn cooldown. But because he goes before certain or after certain champions, can it guarantee that my champions always have the increased defense on regardless? Which so far I haven't really paid attention, but that might be a little bit useless in that sense. Although if I end up, let's say, using him in Tag Arena for whatever reason and some champions die, then maybe the increased defense is going to stay up there longer, assuming he dies, of course. So I thought, you know what, there's no harm in testing it for now. I also even pick the Cycle of Magic. I'm not even sure if this would affect the rotation because he will prioritize his Fearless Charge over his Battle Storm. So worst case scenario is that it triggers on this and then I just get decreased attack up more often. And since I already have the increased defense up for 3 turns, if not 4 turns, I should technically once in a while have more decreased attack being applied on the boss, right? So that was the reasoning behind that sort of like mastery setup. As you can see, the gloves are not done, helm's not done, the ring is not done, and it's HP. This would ideally be flat defense, so a lot of room for improvement on the Iron Brago. Definitely want this guy to be close to like 6,000 defense. Then let's do the next one here. We're gonna do Skull Crusher. Now let's do Rearguard Sergeant. So she is the one in a toxic set. I kind of used the Gugu style Pandemic Showcase recently for his showcase of like a Richard with ally protection, all right? A 4-to-3 ratio where we're using ally protection to soak up the stun. In this case, I'm using 2 ally protection to just soak up more damage throughout the fight. I still need to optimize this a little bit in terms of speed and the gear, but we have 175 speed here, almost 4k defense, 70%. Crit rate should be 75%. Accuracy is also a little bit low, but like a lot of pieces are just at 12, right? So I have a lot of work to do to complete this. We have a flat defense amulet, flat defense ring. We've got an accuracy banner, which obviously can be maxed out there as well. All the skills are done on this champion. As for the masteries, we have War Master into Lasting Gifts, and I suppose I could have instead Master Hexer. She was built for Faction Wars. I did not optimize the masteries yet because I would have to pay for that, so I'm going to wait a little bit until I figure exactly what I want to do with this team. And then let's finish off with our Skull Crusher, which also has not really changed since the previous builds. Almost 5k attack, 191 speed. Too low on crit rate, sadly, crit damage as well, but overall you just want this guy to first survive because he's typically the stun target. On the Void Affinity, he will be the stun target, all right? So we've got all the skills done, masteries, War Master into a typical counter attack build. So there you have it, guys, my overall new clan boss team for the Void Affinity. Now the problem is to test this against all the other affinities to see if this would somehow work. I also need to finish off the gear, but I'm kind of broke right now, so that testing, or this part of testing, will end here for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Hopefully you've learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.